The workload of all-rounder in modern cricket. In that context, you saw the Nitish Reddy making such a huge impact in this essay. What do you take on that? And do you think now he's ready for ODI? You may save in the Champions Trophy as well.
Oh, absolutely. I saw Nitish Kumar Reddy in the IPL, and some of the things he did just from a batting perspective was incredible for a young man. There's a couple of innings in particular where he played a number of extraordinary shots, and straight away that stood out for someone at a young age to be able to have that skill development. Obviously, seeing him in this Test series with the bat has been extraordinary. For a young man to be so equipped technically, he's obviously got all the shots, all the gears that he needs to, but also to have a game plan against the Australian bowlers who've been bowling incredibly well to be able to perform is something very special. Just from a batting perspective alone. Look, from a bowling perspective, I think he's only really scratching the surface from a bowling perspective. He's an incredible athlete. I think watching him bowl, he's still got probably at least another 5 kilometres, maybe even 10 kilometres sort of up his sleeve from a ball speed perspective as well. So it's exciting to be able to see a young all-rounder coming through, be able to do what he did in the IPL just from a batting perspective. Obviously, the impact player, which is sort of one of my, in the IPL, is one of the rules that I don't particularly like before the all-rounders, because someone like Nitish Kumar Reddy didn't get an opportunity to be able to really bowl much because of that impact player. But now we're seeing it in Test cricket, and he will fit beautifully into one-day cricket and T20 cricket for India as well because of the versatility that he provides. He's got all the gears from a batting perspective, and his bowling is only going to get better the more exposure he gets. Look, my experience of dealing and working with Sam has been a very quiet, reserved personality, very a deep thinker, and certainly not an extrovert. But obviously what we saw in the Test match is that he absolutely is a showman. And he certainly rose to the occasion, as in he wasn't overawed. You see, and I know through my experience of debuting, you really do sort of go inside. You're very, you just put a lot of pressure on yourself because it's your dream of being able to represent your country, wear the baggy green. But for Sam, it's superhuman in a way that he sort of just didn't have any of that at all. You could see it wasn't put on. That's just obviously who he is. And again, I hadn't seen that side of him. So to be able to see it, the way he engaged, even when he was batting in that first innings, how much he loved being the centre of attention, which the very best players, that's what they love. That's what they love, being able to be and stand up in those moments. Even the way he interacted with the crowd, it just shows that he's built for this. He's built for this stage where most people, it takes a bit of time to warm up to sort of get into that, whereas Sam's he obviously just thrives on that.
Shane, but obviously seeing a new all-round of the Aussies here in Sydney with Webster making his debut, obviously another former Tassie all-round, yourself kind of as well. What have you made of Bo's kind of form over the last 18 months? And what do you think we'll see in the Test level?
Yeah, look, Bo's been slamming down that door. He's been knocking very hard with his performances over the last couple of years. He's been very consistent with bat. He's been very consistent with the ball as well, and his bowling's only getting better and better. So he's certainly done everything he needed to do to be able to be rewarded with a Test debut here in Sydney. And it's unfortunate that Mitch Marsh just hasn't been able to contribute like he has done in the past. Obviously, from a bowling perspective, he hasn't been able to contribute like he has done in the past as well. So to be able to get some fresh legs in there, to be able to really help the bowling unit, the Aussie bowling unit, I think is going to help a lot. We've seen how extraordinary the Aussie bowlers have been with all of them, but the one that stands out to me the most has been Mitchell Starc. To be able to see him at the absolute peak of his powers and continuing to be able to put it on the line, keeping his bowling speeds up throughout the whole day has been something very special to watch. So to be able to have that extra support, I think the fast bowlers in particular will be they'll be looking forward to it.
Were you surprised they made the change for this Test?
Yes, I was surprised a bit. Just knowing the calibre of Mitch Marsh and what he can provide, he certainly looked a little bit off his best, just with his confidence out of the middle. And his bowling, apart from the first Test match, hasn't been as potent as they probably would like and as he has in the past. So, and especially after winning the last Test match, I'm a little bit surprised. But look, the selectors have nailed it so often for the last couple of years. So it's not for me to be able to question what they're doing, because so many times it's been a masterstroke with who they've brought in when. For me, bringing Sam in after 3 test matches, I thought for McSweeney it was a bit harsh, only getting 3 test matches, but what a masterstroke. Same with in the one-day World Cup, dropping Alex Carey after 1 game, bringing Josh Inglis in, again, a masterstroke. So, look, it's not for me to comment at all, because the selectors have absolutely nailed it. And I'm sure with all the information they've got, they'll get this on right as well.
Shane, I did wonder what you think then Sam's blueprint will be, because yesterday Alex Carey said it's probably not going to be what we saw in his first innings of the Boxing Day Test. But I did just see him in the nets hitting it back over the bowler, practicing his ramp shots. What do you think his blueprint will be?
I think his blueprint will be a balance of all his shot options that he's got. It will certainly be putting the pressure on the bowler, as we saw the impact that it had for the rest of the batters as well in the batting group. It really just freed those more senior batters up to go, you know what, we have to just let go and not be worried about getting out. And Sam really sort of he was that personified with the way he batted. So now, knowing that India will have, and they showed that in the second innings with the field that they set straight up, he's going to have tap into different aspects of his game. But he is technically very correct. He can certainly just stand there and bat normally and wait for loose balls, but he's also got the other gears to be able to hit the ball down the ground. But when they do have third man fine and fine leg fine, the ramp shot is probably out. But you know what? I thought the ramp shot wasn't going to come out in the first couple of overs, and it did. So Sam will just trust what he feels and go with it, and that's something very special that he taps into. Yeah, it's a big moment for Bo Webster and for Tassie cricket to know that they've produced another world-class player. And we've seen what he's been able to do, and he's been a consistent performer in every opportunity he's got over the last couple of years. So he's a tall guy. He's got options with the ball, but also he knows how to score runs. And the beauty of this as well is that picking someone who's been in really good form as well. He's been. You do hope at times, well, not at times, you do hope that when you get picked that you are in really good touch and that you haven't sort of come off the back of a few not so good performances and you're going into making debut a little bit knowing that you're a little bit off with your game. But Bo Webster's been flying high for quite a while, so it's a perfect opportunity to be able to get him in, and it just shows the tireless work that he's put into his game to be able to perform as consistently as he has. And now, with the calibre of players that he's got around him, what a time to be able to come into the Australian team.
I was going to say, just to line on Sam being the youngest Australian Test player at the SCG over 100 odd years, the achievement of that in itself. Can you give us an insight into the week that is? Like, I'd imagine there's a cast of thousands wanting tickets from him and a home test, and his family would be excited for what this week can bring. Yeah,
it's been an incredible week for Sam for sure. It's been something that he only ever dreamed of. He was desperate to be able to get there, and in his own mind, he'd set the course of where he wanted to get to. And there's been different ways for him to be able to get there. But for a young man to be able to perform like he has and do the things that he's done when the opportunities has arisen, there's no secret for me the reason why he's been able to perform like he has at such a young age. He's been so diligent with his technical development, with his mental development. He's just been so diligent with implementing the right mental skills over the last 4 years in particular and troubleshooting those. And for me, that's the reason why there's no surprise that he's able to bring the best version of himself, like ball after ball, so consistently. And so to be able to perform like he has as a 19-year-old and be the youngest, there's been quite a few Test cricketers who've gone through playing at SCG over the years. So it's an incredible achievement. But it doesn't come about without the incredible hard work and disciplined work that he's done. He's shut out all distractions around him for a long period of time with the single focus on, I want to be the best cricketer I possibly can be. I'm going to source all the information that I possibly need, and then I'm just going to drill it in. So then hopefully I get as close as I can to my destination and quite quickly, and he's got there and then some. So the Champions Trophy, look, the beauty of it is, yes, it's only 8 teams, but it does mean that every game there's something riding on it. Like for me, with the World Cup, it's a great thing that the smaller countries get an opportunity to be able to play in a World Cup, which is an amazing experience. But to be able to distill that down, just have 8 teams, whether it's 8 teams or 10 teams, but every team that you're playing against is incredibly good, and every team knows going into every game they have to be at their very, very best. And there's not, apart from like the stage in the World Cup when it moves into that, for it to start out, for a tournament to be able to start out so cutthroat from that very first game. I love it. I always have. I love playing it, and I know the players love playing it as well, and the viewers love watching it. Yes, it means that there's only 8 teams that play in it, and a number of world-class teams do miss out. But I do love the thought of it really being a high-end tournament where there is something riding on every ball.
Criticism, I guess, of some of the shots that India's players played at the back end of the Melbourne Test match, given the match situation. Cricket does seem to be getting more individualised, but the T20 franchise cricket, how do you balance that and that mindset with, I guess, the Test cricket mindset where it's, you know, it's a team plan? How do you weigh that up?
Yeah, look, things have evolved a lot in Test cricket. A number of the shots that players do take on nowadays, it certainly wasn't in my shot vocabulary at all. Thinking about you could play a reverse sweep or a switch hit to fast bowling was just something that was, well, I never would have contemplated. I know if I probably did when Ricky Ponting was captain or Michael Clark was captain, I wouldn't have been welcomed back into the dressing room. But now things have evolved a lot. Which is a great thing with the skill development. It's not like these players can play these shots incredibly well. So it does mean it's more high risk. It does mean that these shots are premeditated, which means that there's more chance of the bowler getting you out. But it's also the beauty of the confidence and skills that these guys have. So when players are premeditating with those shots, they are walking a fine line. There's no question. But it can be incredibly effective and has been for these batters. So they just have to continue to push that fine line and hope that they fall on the right side of that fine line more often than not. But when they fall on the other side, because it is high risk and it is premeditated, that's when coaches, teammates, but also the media will come down pretty hard because it doesn't look great at that moment in time. But that's also what makes these players so devastating when they get it right and they do keep falling on the right side of that fine line.